IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio, as we are every week, at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. TheStudioNH.com is the website if you want to check it out online. Funky little gift shop and art gallery. Come down, say hello. Melissa would love to see you. And, of course, we're also sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, you can go to CentralNHEvents.com. You can hire Mr. Tim Martin. He does a phenomenal job. Also, Tweak Sound and Mastering. Right in Concord is the location of Mr. Matt Marcil. If you need some audio production done, engineering and so forth, he can even play on your CD if you need him to. He's one of those very talented guys who can play multiple instruments. So tweaksound.com is the website if you want to check out Matt Marcil, and a big part of what makes this show possible. And, of course, Sonic Wallpaper, helping to provide music lessons for people who might not otherwise have access to them. Ryan LeMay doing a great job with that. Very proud to have them on board as well. Sonic Wallpaper. And, finally, don't forget the last Saturday of every month, we do an event at Inspire Music in Franklin, New Hampshire, with Zach DeFosse. And so lots going on. And speaking of a lot going on, he's always got a lot going on, but he hasn't been on the show in a while. But we have with us tonight Kay Daver. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Yourself?
Very well. Yeah, it's been a while. You've actually been on the show quite a few times over the years. I think we've had you on, although it gets blurry because you've also been on the other show, Matt Connarton Unleashed. So it's hard to keep track of it in my mind. But I think the first time we had you on, we were still recording the show at right at the Planet, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, in Franklin.
Yeah, you had who was your assistant? I can picture him, but I can't remember his name now.
Let's see, who would I have then? I believe for that interview I had my whole film crew with me.
Oh, okay.
So I probably had Kinetic, Coattails.
Coattails, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. How's he doing? Do you keep in touch with him?
Yeah, I keep in touch, man. He's going to college, being an engineer and stuff.
Yeah, because I'd run into him once a couple of years after that, and yeah, that's what he was doing. He was going to the tech, I think. So you've got some new music. Is it a full length? Is it an EP? What do you have?
Full length album.
Excellent.
It's called Black Angels, White Devils.
Okay. What's the release date for that?
May 3rd, 2016.
Okay. Cool. Well, why don't we? So you brought some tunes with you tonight. Is this all? Is everything that we're hearing tonight? Is that from that or?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. Well, what do you want to play to open the show?
First track is America featuring Kinetic. It's the first track on the album, produced by Epic.
All right, very good. So we'll take a listen to that. Is this a world premiere? Is this a world radio premiere?
This is a world premiere.
We like the world premieres here on Local Outbreak, as you know. All right, very good. So take a listen to this, and then we'll be right back, and we'll talk more with Kay Daver here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
To let the Klan and these other racist elements intimidate us with murder and organized brutality. If the Klan knows that we will retaliate, that we can retaliate and will retaliate, and do unto them as they have been doing unto us, we feel that that in itself will be sufficient to hold them in check.
Are you ready for the journey? Black angels, white devils. K-Death, I'm going for broke. Take these motherfuckers' heads off. Dever is back for NASDAQ and Dow Jones. SP 500, fuck what you own. On my own, best to just keep the good. Could've quit some, getting while the getting's good. Stuck around, rapists for the final pay. I ain't giving in to any men, a few, we men of many. Fuck your illusion in your body scheme. Can't beat me into submission like a helpless teen. I'ma fuck a shame of your valley till your kin perish. Hold them for they inspire. Know that you bad parents. I'm a terror in Paris. Knives and knife fiends. Tell me how's been and gone save you from the guillotine. I'm a fucking fig for my fucking rights. Done us fucking wrong, so we come to life. Salivating, getting close to see the win. You can take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom in America. Land of the free. it fate, I label it fake. Art stripped from the vigil, and my pistols giving power back to the state. I'ma ride till I die, catch a hammer for commas, till I bang Sasha and rock like I'm K Sinatra. Facing at ya, let you know your plan's played, and I'ma kill you with a gun that my hands made. Pussy rappers are actors, no action in activists. Action is power, and I'm smashing a pacifist. Passing this blunt laced with truth smoke. Drums ashes in his palace made from the blood of you. Blood of you with rusty tools and cutlery. Fucking me with sucker fees, you can suck nuts for free. If I gave a shit, it'd be a facial. No shizer, shizer on the fucking lies that made you.
Land of the free, slavery and death is the only opportunity. America, zombies and masses, masses and caskets, caskets and masses. America, freedom is the only way. Lady Liberty dug a hole for a grave. In America, we the people in the war machine, the almighty power, the American dream. I'ma smash this microphone and step in the ring to fight for thrones with righteous chrome and blasted the king. I'm a master this thing, I'll accept nothing less. But I'm a bastard this thing, who's gonna tear down this mess? I'm on the White House lawn and I'm taking retribution, fighting off the empire till the day of my execution. It's mass confusion, they create this mass illusion. We're past the point of passing joints, accepting this delusion. Cause they're never gonna change it up and tell you the truth. They like to fuck with our minds and lives and lie about the proof. They're robbing us blind, so fuck being discreet. Grab your guns and fight for freedom, bring the war to the streets. Anarchy 99, it's anarchy by design. The only real freedom's anarchy for the 90th time. The 90th rhyme, a rap martyr institution. My people beat the war drum on the road to revolution. In America, land of the free, slavery and death is the only opportunity. In America, zombies and masses, masses and caskets, caskets and masses. In America, freedom is the only way. Lady Liberty dug a hole for a grave. In America, we the people in the war machine, the almighty power, the American dream.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. And we're sitting here tonight at the studio with Kay Daver. And let's see, how much music have you put out? You've put out quite a bit, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking from conception to now, it's probably been, this would be my 5th record, and then there's been one that never got released.
Oh, really?
Not even counting all the material that has been cut off the bone, if you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, Black Angels, White Devil, my best work to date. A lot of artists talk about that, saying, of course, when they're trying to sell a record, they're always talking about what's the best, this and that. But I really feel that, man. A form of inspiration has come over me. The last record did, We the People. It's just, I don't know what it was, if it was too many chefs in the kitchen or whatever, man, but it didn't come out hot. You know what I mean? You listen to some of these major league pitchers, and they know as soon as that ball's on their fingertips if it's going to be a strike, a hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like the product was good. We went through the motions, if you will, as far as the music videos and trying to push it, but it was like it was just too many misdirections.
Yeah.
Because
I liked it. We still have Monster in rotation on IPM Nation.
well, that was from a different album.
Was it?
Yeah. That's what's funny? We do these shows, right?
Yeah.
And everyone always talks about Monster, and it's like, man, can I not top that song? And it was one of the first songs I've, done.
Huh. Oh, I'm thinking of, Is It All I Want?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one that we played when you were on Unleashed last time. A Monster is a great track too, but It's All I Want. That's the one I was trying to think of. That was from that was from
that was from We
release.
the People.
Yeah, that's a great track.
Yeah, I mean, the music was good. I don't know, there was just some misdirection with it, man, mainly because, at the time of compiling new pieces in the puzzle, everyone had different agendas or different views of how stuff should be run, which, that's their own prerogative. But
Yeah.
here's what I've noticed, man, if any artists are listening to this. If you take a bunch of people's ideas and put yours aside, you're pretty much just harming yourself, because as soon as they fall back, you're left with a bunch of ideas you didn't even believe in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're stuck with these ideas. It's like I didn't want these ideas to begin with.
So for the new for the new disc, is it more just you and kind of a tighter circle as far as who's participating, or?
For the most part, it's a longer record, so you have a few more features on it.
Yeah.
So I reached out a couple times on this record for, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
on average, man, it's the group. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Kinetic's on the record about 3 times. I got Rebecca Songbird on the record. I got my Russian homie, Sun Sitch on the record. Got Axe Murder Boys, Kung Fu Vampire.
Yeah.
Dubs. You know what I mean? Got a few features, man, but I guess the difference between this record and the last record is I'm personally in control of more.
Yeah.
You know, the last record, somebody else was mixing it.
Yeah.
You know, they did their thing, but it's just one of those things, man. When you're on somebody else's timeline, how do you execute your own tasks? Mm-hmm. Because they're going to have stuff come up.
Right.
You know what I mean, as far as promotion of this record, I already get what I need from it.
Yeah.
The artwork from this record in-house.
Cool.
That we outsourced last time. You know, website control now. Before
Yeah.
I didn't control that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, I've just been, you know, past 3 weeks haven't been too kind to me, but
Really?
for the most part, man, I've been tearing through business books because I've been thinking to myself, I need an agent, I need a manager, I need this, and before you know it, you're holding all this weight, and it's got to be executed. So I just said, screw it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been doing it the whole time anyway.
Right.
So at this point, let's just fine tune it and be more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what about recording? Where did you record this?
My studio.
Okay. Now, did you do the last one in your own studio as well?
Yeah, I did, but it was recorded in my studio. It was mixed somewhere else.
Okay.
This was mixing everything.
So you really do, like, when you talk about, you know, having more control over it, I mean, you really do. It sounds like you're kind of, I mean, was that a conscious decision to as far as the recording, to say, you know, I really want to have complete control over this part too, or?
You have to, man, because I got my own studio in my house. So, you know what I mean? Basically, it's like 11 o'clock at night. If I'm feeling inspired, I got to get it done.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like actually, if you want to be honest, K-Daver, if you're talking about, quote-unquote, my professional releases, everything's been recorded in my studio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Going back to prior releases, I've went to other studios, but see, that there's a pro and a con on that. You're somewhat more punctual because you're paying for it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if it doesn't come out just right, you're stuck with it.
Right, yeah, and that happens to a lot of people. I don't know how many people I've talked to who, you know, not necessarily, they won't necessarily say it on the air, but people who will tell me, you know, off air that, yeah, I really wish I could go back and fix this or change this, and, you know, it's kind of too late. I mean, of course, in some sense, once it's out there, it's too late anyway, because, you know, once it's out there online and whatnot, you know, it's not like it goes away just because you go back and change something. But now, what about, now you mentioned Kinetic, does he still perform live with you?
Yep, still my hype man.
Cool, good. Yeah, one of the times, because I've seen you live a couple of times, and one of the shows, and actually you had opened with Monster, if I remember correctly, and yeah, he's incredible. The two of you together, I mean, it's really, I'm glad that he's still with you, because, you know, it's a good package. You guys work really well together on stage, so that's very cool. Is he on, now you said he's on 3 tracks on the new disc?
Yeah, 3 tracks.
So tell me about, now you mentioned, you were talking about people who are on there with you, and you mentioned a couple names I didn't recognize. So one of them, Rebecca Soundberg or something?
Rebecca Songbird, yeah, she's my brother's girlfriend, and she's a singer.
Okay.
You know, she does a wide range of stuff. You know, they're an industrial band.
Yeah.
Social Autopsy, and then she also does,
Huh.
you know, she can do classical things and stuff like that. And we've always talked about doing stuff, so I had this track. It's called Night is the Darkest. And there will be a video made for it, probably a little more down the line when everything gets cemented, as far as, because that's going to be a high-profile video.
Yeah.
Just because it's basically, the song is about the Anunnaki coming back to the Earth, taking over, and beyond the whole bloodshed of all that, it's actually more of a moral compass. Like, you'll have to listen to the song. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's a moral compass of decisions and what has to be done.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that's probably going to run me $3,500 to make that video look right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Which we do videos in-house too, but to make that look right, I'm probably going to have to bring in some makeup artists and special effects aficionados.
Yeah, And who else? Now, you mentioned Axe Murder Boys, who I've heard of.
Yeah, they're on Psychopathic Records.
Okay, right.
Insane Clown Posse's label.
Yeah.
They're on the record. Kung Fu Vampire, who, is kind of like a, I don't know, man, weird underground enigma, if you will.
Yeah.
He's toured all the time, Twisted, Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
He headlines his own tours.
Yeah.
Cool cat, you know what I mean? He's on the, when I say small time, I don't mean to say it in a derogatory sense. I mean he's a hustler. He's on the small time, but he refuses to let that hold him back. He has a very, which is funny, it's the next song we're going to play, Outcast, featuring Kung Fu Vampire. He has a very weird, unique funk horrorcore type mix.
Yeah.
So
cool.
check
cool.
him out.
And who else? There were a couple of other names, too, that you mentioned.
Oh, you got Doves. He's out in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Russian homie, Sunsitch.
Yeah. Tell me about the Russian guy. That's interesting. I bet everyone says that to you. Tell me about the Russian.
Yeah, it was, I forget what we're doing. We did some contest, and me and him linked up. I was like, oh, it's cool, man. I got this track if you want to jump on it. And I was a little hesitant at first because I didn't know if I wanted to have, someone spitting Russian on my record, but I said, screw it. You only live once, and I'm not signed to Interscope. I don't need to abide by their rules.
Right. Exactly.
Let's do it.
So he's he raps in Russian?
He does.
Interesting.
There's going to be a video for that. He's already shot his part for it. I guess I'm slacking on mine, but it's called Mind of a Lunatic.
Yeah.
Black Angels, White Devils.
Cool. No, that'll be interesting. I mean, that's going to make that really stand out because people are going to. I think that's smart, actually, because people are going to hear that track and they're going to be curious. Like somebody's going to hear that, not knowing anything about it, and they're going to be like, "What is that? What language is that?" And then they're going to look into it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's smart, actually. I think Interscope would be wrong to discourage you from doing that if you were in fact signed to Interscope, because I think that's interesting.
You know what I mean by that? Like if you're signed to a major.
Oh yeah. They tell you what you can do. They tell you whether it's even going to come out.
Right.
I mean, we've all heard the horror stories there. People who
shelf it.
Yeah, and you don't even have the rights to your masters, and you're just screwed. Yeah. So, tell me about the title. It's called Black Angels, White Devils.
That's the name of the album.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah, man. Black Angels, White Devils. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's kind of a double entendre in the sense of the white gods, if you will, viewed as the devil. If you know about ancient history, you know what I mean? Like Sumerians, the Anunnaki, if you will. But it also has a present day tense in the feel of black angels, white devils, man. It feels like the color of skin is irrelevant to a degree. Poor, you know what I mean? One of my closest homies, G, out in California. I'm not saying he's dirt poor, but I mean, he's not rich. And when I was in California on tour, waiting for my last stop, and there was 5 days in between, he was playing, he wasn't playing, he was working security one night at a club, walk in, cool guy, he bought my record to support me, we started chopping it up through text the next day, and he goes, where you staying? And I said, in the car, and he brought us in, and gave us a place to stay for a few nights. And then the white devil, man, corporate America, you know what I mean? Doesn't necessarily mean white, I'm white.
Yeah.
It means corporate America, the corporations that, don't care about you.
Right.
And I do mean that, you know what I mean? It's all about a bottom line dollar. And just think about it this way. And this is the sickest part. And I didn't find this out till like 3-4 years ago. Do you know that the Army and the military do you know they have stocks?
No, I didn't know
You didn't
that.
know that?
No.
So they have stocks. So, like Halliburton or Lockheed Martin, they're public companies. And a public company abides to its shareholders.
Right.
So they always have to show a profit. Well, how do you show a profit if you're not always at war?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Well, I talk about the, on the other show that I do, Matt Connarton Unleashed, I talk a lot about the military-industrial complex and, they
runs it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you have a lot of, tell me a little bit about the content on the new disc. Do you get into a lot of that kind of stuff? Because you've always been very topical. You're not talking about partying and all that, like a lot of mainstream hip hop, partying and money and cars and all that. You're much more cerebral in your approach. Do you continue that on the new disc? I mean, I would assume with that, the title.
Absolutely. I'd say half the disc is devoted towards politics or political themes.
Yeah.
And then it's a roller coaster, man. It goes into some personal stuff with me. Yeah. And then it goes into, I got the song called Deal with the Devil, and it's basically makes you think, is siding with the devil a bad thing? Because it seems to me the evil is pretty upfront about being evil, and every time you pray to God, it doesn't seem God shows up. One of the lines, like, if God had our back, he'd back us in the trenches, but we're left to rot in fields that yield the devil an investment. So, I mean, it takes you on that. It makes you think. I don't really take a side per se, but it makes you think what's right and wrong. Yeah. And then it goes on to, this track Sad Story, which is like a third person. And it basically shows you grade A students who fall into drugs, which it seems to be sweeping America now at an all-time high. Yeah. Funny enough with, the fields over in Afghanistan, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't we play another track from the disc? What do you want to play?
Yeah, let's run with Outcast, featuring Kung Fu Vampire. This basically, I took it back a little bit, speaks to probably people 14 to 24, those people that just don't fit in, man. Like, going through school, can't afford the new clothes, the artists that don't want to conform to the auto-tune and the Fetty Wap, whatever the crap that is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. I know. All right, so we'll take a listen to this. This is Outcast, and this is from K-Daver's new disc, Black Angels, White Devils, here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill. I'm an outcast, you are mainstream. It don't matter, we could be up on the same team. You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill.
I don't know how some people sleep at night. Ain't no price, I'm feeling good. I feel like spitting at you, but I don't live out of spite. My neighborhood been incarcerated, invaded by the wrong message. Mind melted, all of these kids don't know how hard I felt it. When nobody played my CD on the radio, they didn't even let me play the clubs in the city where I live. Though I kept at it, knowing damn well I'm the best at it. Equality over quantity, addicted to war and controversy galore. A mosh pit on the floor as I spit hot magma and venom to the core fan. Something you cannot ignore, man. The rumble of people that stand and scream every lyric. I don't care if it's 10 or 10,000, you still gonna hear it. Still living in fear from the shit that you don't understand. If it's easy on your ear, they end up in high demand and brainwash the motherfucking public as a master plan.
I'm an outcast, you are mainstream. It don't matter, we could be up on the same team. You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill. I'm an outcast, you are mainstream. It don't matter, we could be up on the same team. You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill.
Your million sales on authentic, more pathetic is your ghost ranks. Your whole type is a cloned image. Everything you do is a product of the black art. Never had a hard mash with the matador. My metaphors will settle scores. The sounds of resistance when we headed north. I'ma keep it independent, you can keep all that fakeness. Charge fans to meet you, that's some lame shit. Say it's all love, but the
on the same team. You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill. I'm an outcast, you are mainstream. It don't matter, we could be up on the same team. You're about big numbers, I'm about skill. That's why I aim for the head and shoot to kill.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. By the way, as we mentioned, Kate Aver's been on the show several times. If you want to hear previous appearances by him on the show, we do archive all the shows at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. If you go to that page, you will see every episode of the show that we've recorded in the last couple of years that we've been doing the show here at the studio. And then if you click the archives link, you can get every show that we've done ever of Local Outbreak, because we've been doing this 6 years now. So gone in the blink of an eye. Where does the time go? But very happy to talk to Kate Aver tonight. He's also been on another show that I do called Matt Connarton Unleashed. So you can find the archives for that on IPM Nation. And so I want to, so you said something interesting. We can veer into politics a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned something about, drugs kind of sweeping the nation with the youth and or people of all ages, really. And you mentioned Afghanistan, and it's come up actually on a couple of different shows that I do outside of this one, that people who generally don't even, because if you talk about our occupation in Afghanistan and you connect that to the heroin epidemic, for example, and how, I mean, that's Afghanistan's number one export is, the drugs, essentially. That's something, if you bring that up, some people might think that sounds like conspiracy theory stuff. But I'm actually lately hearing a lot of people starting to kind of wonder about that, who don't usually go down that road necessarily, who are more just sort of mainstream political, who are saying, it is kind of an interesting coincidence, isn't it? Mm. And I think more and more people are starting to question that. Why are we, who attacked us on 9/11? It wasn't a bunch of Afghanis. It was a bunch of Wahhabis from Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. But we go to Afghanistan. We stay there. Yeah, supposedly. we're guarding their crops, essentially. Trying to make sure that no harm comes to that. No signs of us ever leaving there. We're probably never leaving there in our lifetimes. And then I've heard people talk about the CIA being involved, and maybe even the DEA itself and whatnot. And it is an interesting thing to kind of wonder about and explore. And you probably, do you still really kind of study all that in depth, like you have in the past, or
like I have in the past?
Because you've always been one of the more knowledgeable people I've known about.
Yeah, I try to stay on top of it to a degree. As far as it'll just drive you crazy. Like before, I got so in depth with quote unquote conspiracy. I don't even like calling them conspiracies, because that seems to like take wind out of the sail of what could be real. Yeah. But I started. You're just so crazy, man. I don't want to say I didn't have a mental breakdown, but I shaved my head.
Did you? Yeah.
I quit it. Like I started getting crazy, man. Like I'd always be looking in the sky, looking for aliens and stuff.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what triggered it. It was probably just a bunch of mental stress coupled with, if that's what you always look at, that's your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just recently, a week ago, or whatnot, maybe 2 weeks ago, I thought my girlfriend had me set up to be killed.
No kidding.
I woke up, couldn't find my knives. Went to the gym. This guy was following me around. He looked like ex-military. Yeah. You know what I mean? Before you know it, I connect the dots. I'm going crazy. I'm ducking down. I'm looking for my gun. It's like...
This was recent?
Yeah, but it was all...
Did your knives turn up? Or?
Yeah, it went back over there. I'm always thinking...
You all right?
Yeah, it's all good. But, yeah, man, as far as... look at it this way. Look at the rates of heroin use over the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. They're going up.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. You know what I don't understand? So you can draw the connections to like, okay, we're over there. The rates are going up. That makes sense. What I don't understand is So the influx of the drug is higher. But what causes more people to do it? What's being triggered? And I haven't drawn the connections or dots yet, or
Yeah.
I don't have a take, but let me ask you. I mean, just because there's more, does it make you want to do it? Because it doesn't make me want to do it.
No. In fact, my whole part of my argument for, like personally, I would like to legalize all cannabis, and as far as hard drugs like heroin, I would like to decriminalize, just so we can stop treating people who are addicted, so we can stop treating addicts like criminals. But I always tell everybody, look, if it were legal, what would it? Do you mean to tell me that if it were legal, you would suddenly have an urge to try it? You know, it
Right.
doesn't. It does. No, it. I do know this, that like a lot of people. I don't know hard numbers because I'm bad at math anyway. It's hard for me to remember numbers, but a lot of people who get hooked on heroin are veterans who maybe they can no longer get the pain meds they need through the VA or whatnot, because the VA is always a mess. So they turn to whatever is going to work for them, and if they can get, and that's how a lot of them get. A lot of veterans get hooked on heroin. So that's one possibility, and I beyond that, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why the rates go up. Maybe just more poverty, people looking for an escape. I'm not sure. I mean, we've never fully recovered from the financial crash of 2008. You know, the economy's still just kind of, you know,
Well,
it's better, but
you know what I mean, my family wasn't doing smack before, and they're not doing smack now. So
right.
I don't get it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Now, that being said, on a stressful day, I've quit drinking for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, last night, fairly stressful. I had like 3 drinks.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know,
Yeah.
calm down a little bit. But for the most part, you know, past, like I said, last 3 weeks haven't been kind to me. But
Yeah.
I've had about a drink a day a week. But at the end of the day, man, I
that's-
stopped drinking for the most part because it's like consciously I know it's not right. I can't be slamming a 12-pack to my face every night, waking up groggy as hell. And
Right.
Have I mean, I work on any given day. I could possibly work anywhere from 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
You know, whatever
Yeah.
I got to do. So it's like, do I want to be refreshed and ready to go, or do I want to be groggy and hungover?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you used to. I think when we first met, you were talking. You were saying that you drank quite a bit. Were you really drinking a 12-pack a night though? That's brutal.
In a given night, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe a bottle of Jack, half a bottle anyway.
yeah. So, but you probably. I mean, were you an alcoholic? Do you think, or probably not? If you were able to just kind of. Because when you decided to stop doing that, it sounds like you just decided to stop doing that.
Well, I
It
also
wasn't-
quit. That's another thing. These people that piss and moan about quitting smoking. I smoked for 2 years. Quit cold turkey.
Yeah, good for you.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
I was eating mad junk. I was up to 230 pounds. I quit cold turkey. Went right to vegetables and fruits.
You look thinner than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
And so I mean, I went from not working out to going right in full speed. So it's like, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I just think I have the mental aptitude to decide when I have to do something.
Right.
And so I think, for the period of a couple years where I was drinking heavily, I think I was just lost.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you're I mean, I guess it comes full circle. That's probably why they're booting heroin. They're just lost. I just don't
Yeah.
think I would ever be that lost.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
You know what I
I
mean?
couldn't do it. But I've never. But it to me, it's scary. Like I've never done any hard drugs ever because
Nothing?
I just nothing because I just
Wow.
it's all scary to me. I couldn't stick a needle in my arm. I couldn't put anything up my nose. All of it just terrifies me.
Especially when you know what it does.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Years ago, I was working at Strawberries, which preceded FYE, but it was the same company. And I remember I was working with this kid. His name was Rick, and he just happened to. We were just talking one night, and he said to me something like, "You must be really disciplined because you do all this stuff with music. You're out playing shows and you're promoting shows, and because I think I told him that because like I don't know if it is now or not, but like 10 or 12 years ago, cocaine was really big in the music scene here in Manchester, and so Rick and I were talking about that. He's like, "You must be really disciplined to never be tempted to try it yourself," because I told him I'd never done it, and I said, "No, man, discipline's got nothing to do with it. It's just fear." It takes no more discipline for me to avoid that than it does to avoid, cutting my arm off with a chainsaw. It just seems like a bad idea to me, so I have no interest in doing it.
Right.
I was never even tempted by it, but yeah, it's scary. But what I found out too is at that time it was like people who I never would have imagined doing coke were doing coke. Like everybody was doing it. Like people who I thought were just really straight-laced were doing coke. It was like, am I the only one in the local music scene who doesn't do coke? And that makes me wonder now, are there people doing heroin who I would never suspect? You know, like do I personally, probably not, because with heroin it's kind of obvious, you know what I mean?
Yes and no.
Like someone can do coke on the weekends and you see them during the week and you wouldn't necessarily know it. But if someone's a heroin addict, you probably most of the time you can tell something's up, you know, I would think.
Yes and no. Sometimes, you know, you can get pretty deep into it before you really see signs.
Yeah.
Just almost like a functioning alcoholic, if you will.
Well, that's why it kind of makes me wonder, like, do I know people who are addicted to heroin who I just have no idea they're addicted to heroin, you know? But... you know, I hope not, but yeah, it's all interesting. And you had mentioned too off air, Bernie Sanders. You had asked me what I thought about him, and so I'm curious to ask you now.
What do I think of Bernie Sanders?
Because obviously you have some thoughts.
If I believed in this system at all, which I guess isn't very optimistic, I'd probably go with Bernie Sanders, probably being the key word, because I don't follow it in depth.
Yeah.
You listen to the man speak, you listen to his policies. Are they all great? No, but they seem to make the most sense, in my opinion. So, you know, if I were to vote and believed in it, that's what I would go with. Not only that, but I mean, you get Hillary in there. I mean, holy, whoa. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it doesn't even seem like she believes. And it's going to sound funny, me saying I'd go with Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton, what I'm about to say, but it doesn't even feel like she believes in the Constitution, if you hear some of the speech she says.
Yeah.
Not only that, but, you know, I mean, look who, like Jesse Ventura says, look where the money goes. Follow the money. And look at all the bad money she's taken.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely.
But
she's bought
check
and paid
this
for it.
out. Not that I believe in him. Not that I would.
Yeah.
But, man, if Donald Trump gets in there, you can't tell me it's not going to be a roller coaster.
And it's very possible. It could be. It's very possible that it could be Trump. Yeah, it's discouraging. I'm probably gonna, like I said, I was saying off air, I'm probably gonna vote for whoever the Libertarian nominee is again. That's what I did in 2012. You know, I try to vote against the two-party system whenever possible, but. Yeah, Hillary, you know, will certainly get, in terms of foreign policy, there's no difference between her and the Republicans anyway. You know, no matter what, we're going to get more war, you know, because that's the answer always with these people, you know. There's war. Well, how do we solve that? We need more war,
Right.
you know.
Well, Bernie Sanders questioned, I believe it was not Bernanke. Who was the guy that preceded Bernanke in the Federal Reserve?
Oh,
Was it Paulson?
Henry Paulson, I think so.
Well, he questioned him, saying, how do you know, you're exporting all these jobs, you're creating all these, you know what I mean, loopholes for people to go overseas. This is what people don't understand. You can push all these jobs overseas, and you can have all these accessories at low budgets, but if there's no jobs, how do you pay for it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Bernie Sanders, you know, if he were to implement, say, let's just keep it very simple. Let's say he only had a 4-year term, but he was able to open up things, keep everything more American, and let's say 4 major manufacturing plants opened up in this country, and say created, you know, between the job itself and then the distributors and everything in between, created 90,000 jobs, high-paying jobs. Even just that little number, 90,000. You know how much better off this country would be?
Yeah. Well, any high-paying jobs help. I mean, that because that's part of the thing too. Is, you know, people talk about, well, the unemployment rate's come down, and actually the unemployment rate itself, if you look at that number right now, looks really good. But if the bulk of the jobs that are being created are just low-paying, low-skilled jobs, and it really doesn't help, you know, you have to have people who can afford to buy the products that are being manufactured. Otherwise, yeah.
You can open up all the Dunkin' Donuts you want. If they're making $8 an hour and everything else is on the up, I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Australia. Don't quote me on current statistic, but I believe a couple of years ago their minimum wage was $14.50.
Really?
And they're one of the best economies out there.
Yeah.
Or were up into like I checked it like 12 months ago.
Yeah.
So.
Huh. Well, why don't we play another? Track? What do you want to play next?
Let's go Rise Above featuring Miss Nita. This is a little bit more of a personal track, if you will. Just basically the essence of rising above, man. Like, you know what I mean? Growing up poor, everyone telling you that the rich are evil,
Right.
which to a degree they are, but then you make them the enemy, and then it's like you start shunning people that aim for success.
Yeah, very true. And who's on this with you?
Miss Nita.
Now, who's that? That's a name I don't know.
Yeah, she's a singer. She does stuff with like Anu Domini. Believe she does King Crooks.
Okay.
A few others.
From around here, or is she
New York.
New York? Okay. All right, cool. So this is called Rise Above?
Correct.
All right, this is Rise Above from K. Daver and his new disc, Black Angels, White Devils, here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
Life wants to hold me down, but I think I found my way. I'm not holding back now, moving on from yesterday. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, nothing's getting in my way. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, moving on from yesterday.
When I think back to when I was a child, headphones on, I would walk for a mile. Listen to the songs like testaments of God. Cargoes with cases, no thing is an iPod. Now it's all stress with no sun. Only way to win's if you know one. Never have I been a type, never will I kiss ass. Never will I, never will I, never will you kick cash. And that has been the thought that got me caught in a maze. Wishing it was yesterday and things didn't change, but here we are, slumdog slumming it. Thought life would be a ride and I would have some fun with it. Instead I've chased music with degraded health. Music is a mistress, she's fucking everybody else. When they said don't sell out, I thought they had a plan. Instead it's just poverty and oxys in their hands.
Life wants to hold me down, but I think I found my way. I'm not holding back now, moving on from yesterday. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, nothing's getting in my way. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, moving on from yesterday.
When I think back to when I was a youth, everything was possible, obstacles to who? Dreams were to Everest, ready for the climb. Open schedule, not worried about time. Then I was told rich are bad people. Success and money are evil. Made them the enemy, became friends with hate. Now I'm holding dreams with no weight. All them who told me, lacking any fun, lacking real knowledge, lacking real fun. Addicted to pharma, cycle of karma. Didn't rise above, so they sunk to the bottom. Now we got a problem, and I don't know if anyone can solve them. Here I am, middle-aged, stuck in the middle age, lost in the middle, in the midst of a mental rage.
Life wants to hold me down, but I think I found my way. I'm not holding back now, moving on from yesterday. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, nothing's getting in my way. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, moving on from yesterday.
If I could go back to
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. Want to remind everybody, of course, that we do the show every week at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. And if you want to hear previous episodes of the show, we do archive them all at IPMNation.com/local outbreak. And you can hear our previous conversations with Kay Daver as well. And we definitely want to let everybody know where to find you online. Where's the best place to go to keep up with everything that you're doing? Because...
Well, whatever you like to use, man. If you like, if you prefer the Facebooks on there, facebook.com/kdaver603, the Instagrams, the Twitters.
Yeah.
kdaver.com.
Do you still have the label? You were running a label too, but...
Yeah, I guess in essence I do.
Yeah.
It's an imprint to release my music, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I got a few people... working with some artists.
Yeah.
I don't want to announce it yet because we haven't actually put it together, but, they'll be released. I'd like, my goal about all this is to build a team, artists, this, that, whatever, to keep everything in-house. You know what the issue is, man? It's like, I don't know. You ever seen somebody in a relationship, one bad after another, and then you just start thinking, is it them? I'm wondering if it's me, because this whole
Really?
time I'm like blaming other people. I don't want to say blame, but just being like, okay, well they're not doing their, so I just do me. It's like, I don't know if I'm too demanding. I don't think I am.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, man, it's piss or get off the pot. Are you going to do this?
Right.
I don't got all day to talk about it.
Right.
And it seems like these people want attaboys and backpacks, like when the job's 5% done. Like, all right, come to me when this is done, and I'll give you an attaboy, all right?
Right. Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. So the new disc, now, will there be physical copies available, or are you just releasing it
sir.
online? Or
It's going to be on everything, man. I'm going for broke on this record.
Cool.
And I do mean that. There's probably between start to finish, we have a planned budget of $5,500, which, okay, so for everyone listening to this, probably thinking nothing, all right. But we have a planned budget for $5,500 with the inflatability of $10,000 to $11,000, depending on initial sales.
Okay.
And I'm just going for broke on this in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
We're upgrading the video department in-house.
Cool.
So, also, for anybody listening to this, if you need video work done between interviews, documentaries, music videos, we can currently shoot you anything. Hit it up, roschild@gmail.com. Email me with your with what you need. I'll send you a quote right over. And seriously, man, at this point, you know what I mean? I'm not old, I'm not young. I guess, it depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to your grandparents, I'm young. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm in that prime age to where I got a window to where it's, it's either I'm going for that home run or I'm not going to go for the at-bat.
Right.
And, I've been in contact with a lot of graphic designers who are now doing T-shirts and shot glasses and everything in between for me. Or, they work with the Insane Clown Posse and Twisted and everything else. And, it's like when people hear my product, obviously if you're not into it, that style, you're not into it. But people within the scene that listen to it say it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the trick is, this whole time, man, I've been playing the game but not knowing the rules. You have to know marketing, and you have to know advertising, and you have to know budget constraints. Before I just throw money at the wall, it's coming in. All right, let's just keep going, man. I want to keep this ride going.
Right.
And eventually the bill comes, and you're like, oh, where's the money? And everyone else that's down to ride is now riding elsewhere. Because like, all right, I believe in it. But, you know what I mean? So it's whatever, man.
Are you going to be touring?
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I booked 2 tours. Actual tours, not shows. I mean, I booked 1 billion shows.
Yeah.
I've booked 2 tours myself. Technically 3. The first one, obviously, I guess you could say was a flop. But hey, it was my first one. We did it. I went for a country tour.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the thing, man. Fail, because it's the only way you're going to learn. But check this out, man. I had the goal of a national tour, and no one can ever tell me that I never did it. We did it.
Right.
But because it wasn't that hot, it took me a while to regroup, and then we went for a regional tour, and then that was hot.
Yeah.
But because it took so much time and effort, I got into a 9 to 5 at that point because it took so much time to book the tour. I wasn't getting paid. I didn't get money. So and then through that job, they just kept paying me more and more and more money. And then so that took some time back, and now it's just swinging for the fences again, man. As a poor kid, you know what I mean? when they just keep throwing money at you. You know what I'm saying? Up until recently, I've never, between music or 9 to 5, I never made over 25,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then you start getting close to 6 figures, and you start thinking, you know what I mean? You just start rolling the money, and then you know what I mean? Your values, I don't want to say change, but you start looking at money differently.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So now, and of course, as tour dates come up, they'll be on your website and
YouTube videos, Vimeo, all that.
And for somebody who's just listening to this on, say, on 100.1 The Planet, they're listening to this in their car, so they can't just go and figure out in the moment. How do you spell for those who want to get to your website? Kadaver.
KDAVER.
Okay. So just
also started a movie production company.
Because I don't want somebody to think that it's cadaver, the word, and then they can't figure out how to find you once they get home to their computer. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt. So what about the production company?
Starting a movie company. We're starting with shorts.
Yeah.
Well, we're implementing strategic music videos. We started that at first, and we're continuing that. Not just your typical rap at the camera shot, but having a storyline to go along with it. Now, from there, we're starting short movies that will be available for very cheap purchase on Vimeo.
Cool.
99 cents. You get the short. And for everyone out there, man, you heard it once, heard it a million times. If you truly like the product, for the love of God, buy it. And I'm not saying that to be money hungry. I'm saying it because if you don't support the product, you can't make the product.
Exactly.
It's like Coca-Cola. Like, yo, I love Coke. Well, I don't drink it, but if you like it and you don't buy Coca-Cola, they're not going to keep making it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well, cool. So, this has been great. Thank you so much. And let's. What do you want to wrap up the show with?
Worst Enemy.
Worst Enemy? Okay. Is anybody on this track with you? Or?
Just me.
Just you. All right. All right. So we're going to finish up with Worst Enemy from Kadaver and his new disc, Black Angels, White Devils, here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
I could have been your best friend. Now I am your enemy. Why were you hating? I have no choice to be your enemy. I hope we don't meet, but if we meet, you'll never be free from me, my enemy. If today is it, tell God I did my best, highest shit.
IPMNation.com.